Shane Van Gisbergen has completed his first trip at Pocono Raceway, and he finished his 31st after getting dumped multiple times near the end of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, Shane Van Gisbergen finished 31st at Pocono, was on track to potentially get a top 10 in the Xfinity Series race, but unfortunately got dumped multiple times. At the start of the race, Shane Van Gisbergen qualified 26th. In practice, struggled a little bit, was about 35th or 36th at the beginning, but as he got more laps in practice, he jumped to about 30th. Then he got a couple more positions in qualifying and jumped up to 26th and actually moved up a couple rows because I believe Josh Berry, who was substituting for Hailie Deegan today, well, Hailie Deegan is no longer AM Racing, and then of course, you had, I believe, Taylor Gray, who qualified extremely well. He would have to go to the rear, meaning Shane would start in 22nd position. Early in the race, he faded back quite a bit. There was a crash on lap number 2 for Dawson Cram. On the next restart, he got kind of turned and fell as far back as 35th or 36th. But then he started moving his way forward. I think he came down pit road and got some fresh tires and started moving his way forward. And on the long run, he made up one position, then a couple of positions, and I believe by the end of stage number 1, Shane Van Gisbergen was up to 27th position and was chasing down Brendan Poole and had a pretty fast car. Then they all came down pit road, and Shane got a couple positions up there and was nearly inside the top 20. But once again, one of his big struggles has been restarts on the ovals and faded back a little bit. Was able to kind of stay in that top 20 to top 22 range and stayed there and continued actually moving forward and actually moved his way inside of the top 20. Stage 2 would pretty much go green. We had a couple of drivers that started having some tire issues and problems in front of him. Early in the race, William Byron, Josh Marine, a lot of those guys were having some major tire issues and problems, and he was able to take advantage of that and was inside of the top 20. By the end of stage number 2, Shane would be around that top 20 range in area. And he came down pit road and actually moved around the top 15, top 16 area and would actually stay in the top 20. As the run continued on, he had a big wreck happen between Parker Retzlaff, Ryan Ellis, Liam Honeyman Jr., a couple other guys behind him, and that helped him a little bit to save a little bit of gas. And then we went back racing with about 40 laps to go in the race, and we started seeing green flag pit stops, and Shane actually decided to stay out. All the guys up front, William Byron, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, all those guys, we'll talk about Sam Mayer here in just a little bit, but all those guys came down pit road for fuel. Shane would actually stay out a little bit longer and would be as far up as 6th place. But then with 22 laps to go, we saw Steve Malazzi stop on the racetrack and bring the caution out. During this caution, Shane would come down pit road. But at the time during the green flag pit stop, Riley Herbst and Jess Love had penalties, which he would jump them a little bit. And Shane actually had a pretty solid pit stop and came off second off pit road and would restart in 16th position. And with the fresh tires, he started making moves to the front. But there was a quick yellow for Jeremy Clements, and Mason Massey was also collected in the incident and the wreck as well. There was another restart, and I started seeing Shane making some moves toward the front. He got one guy on the next restart, got a couple guys, and was actually almost inside of the top 10. And eventually got by Sam Mayer and was battling Taylor Gray for around 10th position and got up inside of the top 10. However, Shane Van Gisbergen's day would go from good to bad when Sam Mayer completely overshoots in the corner, completely sends it going into the tunnel turn, and completely turns Shane Van Gisbergen, who is running 10th at the time. Sam Mayer, who by the way is being considered for a Cup Series ride at Front Row Motorsports, I do not understand what Sam was doing right there. That was completely unnecessary. That would unfortunately take Shane Van Gisbergen at the time out of a chance of getting maybe a top 10. And I think Shane could have gotten a top 8 or top 7 in this race, but Sam just made a rookie mistake right there. For a guy, like I already said, that is looking to move up to the Cup Series full-time next year, you can't do that stuff. It's inexcusable and unacceptable. And Sam Mayer deserves to be called out for it. Again, he's being considered for a ride at Front Row Motorsports. He could be racing against SVG and Cup because a lot of talk that Shane is going to be moving up to the Cup Series next year. Just inexcusable by Sam. Luckily, Shane did not get any damage on his car and they were able to repair it. And we went back racing with 4 laps to go, and Shane was moving up really quickly. He jumped from about 30th position and got up inside the top 20. But once again, Shane would get turned with 3 laps to go. And unlike the previous time, NASCAR would not throw the caution. I'm not entirely sure who got in the back of him. It wasn't revealed, but it's someone who probably is really far off the points right now. And they completely just dumped Shane. Shane would fall way back to 31st position. And coming out the final corner, after getting dumped by multiple drivers in the race, Shane Van Gisbergen would come off the corner and finish in 31st. He was interviewed by Steven Sum from front stretch after the race concluded. He says she's pretty sure that Sam did not mean to turn him, but he just didn't really appreciate. And he basically called, I think, someone a wobbler at the end for battling for 83rd position. Shane Van Gisbergen, like I said, came across the corner and finished 31st. Tough break for Shane. Shane was on track to have one of his best runs on oval. I think probably his best run he's ever had on an oval, because I think he genuinely had a top 5, top 6 car near the end of this race. And unfortunately, a younger driver who's raced against Shane for almost a year now, he got dumped by Sam, just inexcusable from Sam Mayer, and took that out of Shane, which is a shame because, like I said, Shane Van Gisbergen was having an incredible and amazing run. And now all the work that Shane showed today, where he was going to get a top 15 or a top 10 at least, is all for naught and nothing. And it's disappointing for Shane because, and I know he's gutted about it too, because last week at Chicago had probably arguably one of the fastest cars in that race and completely got dumped by Chase Briscoe in that corner. It was a big mistake by Chase, hydroplaning in the corner. And then, of course, you have this week where he was likely going to get a top 10 potentially and got dumped by Sam Mayer, got dumped by somebody else. These drivers have got to stop racing like idiots on the racetrack, because sometimes a lack of respect. We saw Chandler Smith get pissed off too at Sam Mayer after the race, by the way. So we had other drivers that were really mad, like Chandler Smith was. Again, I think Shane had a really good running going. The finish is not going to really show how well Shane was running today. He was potentially going to get a top 10, was doing an excellent and great job. For a guy that's looking to go to Cup next year, runs like this today, while the finish ain't going to show it, runs like this today shows he's continuing to learn and he's continuing to get better, because there's likely going to be in a third full-time Trackhouse car in the 2025 season. I'm disappointed for the finish he had today, but he did an excellent job, and he'll be looking to run next week. Next week goes to Indianapolis, and that's going to be very interesting for sure. If we were on the road course, I'd definitely picking Shane to win, but I think of how much Shane has improved. I think he did a very solid and excellent job today, and unfortunately the finish was not there, but Shane unfortunately finished his 31st. Just bad luck. It is what it is, and hopefully he can move on from this, recover from this, and move on and go to Indianapolis and try to win there. A lot of drivers who've been very good in other open wheel forms, like a Juan Montoya perhaps, have done really good. So I think Shane could honestly have a really good one next week at Indianapolis. His next Cup start, I believe, is at Watkins Glen, which is a little bit farther down the road. And of course, he's going to have a chance to win both the Xfinity and the Cup races there. I don't think he's a championship contender in any stretch of imagination, but I think he falls unfortunately below the regular points, which is disappointing because he had a chance to be in the top 10 today and just have bad luck. It is what it is for Shane. It's disappointing he didn't get the finish he deserved. But hey, at least Shane did run in the top 10 near the end and was showing a lot of improvement. He didn't make a mistake today. Unfortunately, got turned by multiple people, so he's not at fault for some of the incidents on the track. So that is going to be it for the special broadcast video on Shane Van Gisbergen. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and support on Patreon as well. We'll discussion below that and comment your thoughts below on today's video. What thoughts about Shane Van Gisbergen's performance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have the starting lineup video for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Pocono, the Great American Getaway 400. We're also going to have the NASCAR Cup Series race view from Pocono. Then on Monday, we're going to have a NASCAR news view. We've got rumors of Hailie Deegan potentially going to IndyCar. We're going to talk about some broadcasting news as well, some more silly season rumors and rumblings, and a lot of other stuff on the channel over the course of the next couple days. I got a ton of great content. We'll talk about drivers like Carl Edwards and Kurt Busch, among other things, and talk about drivers like Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, among other drivers like Brad Keselowski as well in the Cup Series race tomorrow afternoon. Got a ton of great content that I cannot wait for you guys to check out over the course of the next couple days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.